Hey everybody, Brian Boyle here, and welcome to episode 133 of the Mesh Tongue. It is Saturday, and hopefully all are well. Anybody running the Ragnar Zion trail relay? If you are, well, you're probably not watching this, so you can tell me how you did. They're down in Zion Park in southern Utah, and it was happening yesterday and today. I had a couple friends that were heading down there running it, but wasn't sure if anybody else was out running it. I know a lot of the Ragnar events are getting more and more popular, especially these trail ones where you go and camp and then you've got 3 circle loops and you run each one. So pretty fun stuff. They moved it back a couple of weeks this year because of the snow incident that they had a couple of years ago, where they tried to hold it in April and it snowed, and hypothermia was one of the big issues, and they had to cancel the race, and people were coming in with all sorts of crazy ankle sprains and bruises and just miserable. So hopefully if you were running there this week, you had fun. Let me know. Anybody else doing anything fantastic this weekend? Again, you know how to get a hold of me, Brian, B-R-I-A-N, at company5k.com. That's the number 5k.com, and I'll be happy to get back to you. Today I want to talk to you about 2 different conditions, and kind of how do you return after that. So I've talked to you before about heat and running in the heat, and just kind of gave you some general guidelines, but didn't give you anything about heat stroke. You know, the heat stroke or heat stress that people will call it, as the heat is coming on, and we're at the middle of May here, and you can start heading into June and July. Gets pretty nasty out there depending on where you're at, especially in some of the southwestern states in the dry desert heat. You know, you don't think it'd be that bad, but it can get pretty bad. You know, obviously depending on where you are with the heat and humidity. If there's a high humidity point that day, the heat can also get to you. So heat stroke, you know, cold immersion, water immersion is probably the best thing you can do to cool the body down. So if you're feeling like you're out and you're having some issues, my father had this, you know, just on the cusp of this. We were moving the one time and just helped me move into an apartment, and normally the guy is just a beast, and I could see, I said, man, you got to go lay down in the bathtub. So we filled the bathtub with about cold water, laid in there, and about an hour later was good to go. But you know, it's important to be able to recognize these things. So you know, when you stop sweating but you're hot, okay, your body can't cool off and regulate, so that's a sign. You know, headache, delirium, you know, just not knowing where you're at. You know, you don't want to necessarily give somebody like that fluids. You want to get them cool and laying down in shade. You know, the body can go into shock. So you want to make sure that obviously that you know, you're aware of these signs. But how do you return to running after that? Well, you want to take it easy, all right? So if you're racing or you're doing an interval workout and you start feeling these signs, if you've got a training partner that can get you home, you know, if you're in immediate need, get to the hospital. Don't fool around with this stuff. But you know, once you start feeling better, you're going to want to take it easy for about the next 7 days. Okay, you know, you're going to want to make sure that that you're getting hydrated, that you're staying cool, that you're not overexerting yourself. And that's probably going to take 2 to 4 weeks. This is the tough thing for people to grasp. It's probably going to take you 2 to 4 weeks, okay, to return to full activity. And that's where people start getting into issues. They say, well, you know, I'm starting to feel better. Outwardly, you're feeling better. And however, you had just had a significant heat event. You know, and again, the reason they call it heat stroke, all right, is that it can start shutting down the body parts. So you want to make sure that you're taking probably 2 to 4 weeks, bare minimum, to return to full sport. When I say full sport, if you're running, you know, and you're racing, versus just somebody that's just going out for a daily workout. All right, so you have to judge where you're at in that. Somebody that's just going out for a daily workout may be able to get back much faster. Somebody that had a very mild case can get back faster. If you end up hospitalized because of this, you're going to be on that higher end of that 4-week mark. It's also going to matter depending on your training levels. So somebody that's new and you know, taking 2 to 4 weeks off could actually return to baseline and lose all of their training effect. So you want to make sure that that if you are new, that you're slowly and gradually building back up into this. The next thing is rhabdomyolysis. So rhabdomyolysis is a condition where the proteins in the body start breaking down. So the muscle actually starts breaking down. This happens in runners. This happens quite often in half marathoners and marathoners, not so much in the lower distances. What ends up happening is there's a significant event. Something happens in the muscle. The muscle starts to basically deteriorate and then get pushed into the bloodstream. And then from the bloodstream tries to go into the kidneys. The kidneys can't process it, and then you're screwed. You're really, literally screwed, because this is bad news. Okay. So again, the symptoms are probably, you're probably not going to know that's going on. You're going to know something's going on, but you're not going to be like, oh my God, this is rhabdomyolysis. Okay. You're going to have pain in the back, pain in the kidney area, because of the fact that the proteins are being broken down and trying to be processed in the kidney. So it'll probably come on as low back pain first, maybe an inability to urinate. So those are the sorts of things where if all of a sudden you're like, dude, I can't go to the bathroom and I'm having like this massive back pain. Don't try and like Dr. Google and be like, oh, hey, this is probably like kidney stone versus like a UTI versus like rhabdomyolysis. If you've been exercising, now all of a sudden you have this, okay, I would get in and be treated and don't fool around with this. Quite oftentimes people will end up, this is how people end up in the back of the ambulance at the marathons. They start getting this breakdown and all of a sudden they go, it just felt like this crushing pain. Now, what ends up happening, return to play, so resting 72 hours, and, when we think about returning to running, resting 72 hours and hydrating, obviously. Quite oftentimes people will end up getting IV fluids, so if that's you, you're already getting hydration, but resting 72 hours, not having anything, very, very active. Light activity for a week, again, maybe thinking about cross-training at this point, maybe getting in the pool and doing some water running. If you've got a bike access, again, light bike activity and, something low impact that doesn't, maybe, some walk and jog activity. And then, once you have no symptoms, you basically are, you're good to go. And it basically is going to come down to how long you've had your symptoms. So these are the sorts of things that people will end up, they'll have this condition and the doctors don't know when to tell them to return. So heat stroke, it could be 2 to 4 weeks. Rhabdomyolysis, as soon as you have no pain, no symptoms, you're generally good to go. So hopefully you find some value in this. Hopefully this helped. Tomorrow is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. And make sure you're getting your run in before you have your Mother's Day activities, or maybe it's your rest day. Perfect. Sometimes that works out even better when you have a holiday. That way you don't have to worry about trying to juggle all this stuff in. But please share this with your friends, your family, your training partners, and if you find some value in it, I would appreciate you letting me know. Send those questions, comments to Brian, BRIAN, at company5k.com. Also check out runpainless.com. Whatever you do, don't go hurting yourself to come back. We'll see you again tomorrow with the next episode. This is episode 133. Have a great day. All right.